This video is going to be different from other ones. I've been getting a lot of questions recently about my creative process, where ideas come from, and even some technical things about video editing, specifically in Camtasia. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to take you on a tour of one of my recent videos, and we're going to look at the timeline, and I'm going to point out some things as we go through it. This video we're going to look at is the one where I go through the text before function. Here's the entire timeline, and I'm going to expand this, okay, so we can see better. All right, so as far as right here, we only have 8 tracks. Okay, so one thing that I do is I will add a fade to come in. I don't have the clip just boom, there's me. No. So let's look at this. Did you hear the news? It's similar to what I said a couple of videos ago. All right, so you saw the fade. And then notice here at track 4, I pretty much keep me always on track 4, so that if I have to move me or edit me or resize my part, I'm likely on track 4. That helps me keep organized. And then here in tracks 2 and 3, that's my audio. And it's just some quirk that I have where after I'm done with a video, I will copy the audio track and paste it, and it boosts up the volume, but it doesn't boost it up and then run the risk of distortion. And I've been told that this is unnecessary, but this is one thing that is frustrating about making video is there's the risk of needing to be an audio engineer and a lighting person. There's so many balls to juggle with making video, especially if you do it in some, complex, sophisticated way. The gear is no longer basic plug and play stuff. No. You got to know what you're doing, or you can make an audio mess, a visual mess if you don't pay attention to the settings. And so, yeah, I've been told that I don't have to do this doubling of the audio track, but it's my own quirk. I am not going to say, yes, do it, and ignore people who say that Oz guy is crazy. All right. Now here is where I refer to a previous video. That you don't find Victor Momo, he finds you. And what happened? All right, so here is a burn transition, and typically when you have a transition in, you want to use the same one out. I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I allow myself to just have fun, and maybe I'll have a burn in and then a shatter out or some fade out, whatever. I'm just having fun, but I am aware that, if I was some professional videographer or video editor, I would pay attention to keeping things consistent. But right now, for this one, yes, I did a burn in and a burn out. You see that? All right. So, and then my name comes in. All right, so now up in the library, I have my name. All right, and so that's in the library always. And so when I'm making a video, that is always there available to me. All right, because I use it a lot and I can just drag it into place. Notice that I made myself smaller, and then my name is here by itself. And that's because of issues with getting the letters to not fall and disappear into the background. and you see this gold in the letters and then the gold in my jersey, they can start to get muddled. And there are different ways that you can handle that. Drop shadows can handle it. If I did want this asset full size with the letters on top, yeah, drop shadow could help it not fall into the background. Also, sometimes I will put a transparent box behind the letters and still in front of me so that there is some contrast. This is all the way in the background, this clip. Let me see if I can show you this clip here. Where is it? Okay, this clip here comes from the TechSmith Assets Library, where I pay about like $300 a year in order to use it. All right, and so I was looking for something celebratory because I wanted to celebrate Victor Momo getting the MVP award. Okay, and also I needed for this to be all the way in the background. That's why this is on track 1. And yeah, it's almost the only thing on track 1. I do have some audio here, but we'll get to that later. All right, so yeah, thinking about celebration, I got some celebratory B-roll, and that is what these glittering lights are, and they are all the way in track 1. Okay, so now let's see. Momo is now I moved myself out of the way to make room for Victor's picture, and I always use the custom animation. Okay, so let me look here. Animations, I never use zoom and pan, never. I always use the custom animation. I don't use any of these. I always say, okay, so here's the before, and then what do I want it to be like after? Okay, boom. And you can change the opacity, change the size, the angle, everything. And if you want it to happen quicker, you shorten it. Okay, if you want it to happen longer, then you make that longer. Okay, so, and then here is, how did I have Victor come in? I used the digital transition. Now this is wild because I am using text. Here we go. It's so well deserved. Wow, I'm so excited. What? All right, so here is the text. So Mr. Momo, well deserved, found us. Okay, so Mr. Momo, and then there is the emphasis, this low metallic boom. All right, and then found and us. You spend a lot of time getting this kind of thing lined up to where when the text comes in, you also hear the sound effect, and it can be weird if it's just slightly off. One is slightly ahead of the other. So let's look at this. So well deserved. And then here is confetti. Watch this. Static. All right, and you hear the cheering. Okay, so there's a sound effect, large crowd, medium ovation, concert. All right, and then the confetti, let me show you that. This is a green screen with confetti coming down, and then I use the remove a color in order to get rid of the green. And that is in, let's see, visual effects and remove a color. It's also in my favorites. So among my favorites, you've got fade through black, morph, shatter, and then there is the custom animation, remove a color, clip speed, music, fade in, fade out. All of those in my favorites. Okay. So that's how we get this confetti happening. And the confetti needs to be in front of the glittering lights that are all the way in the back. All right. And then there's Victor's picture, and he is behind the confetti. And then here's the audio for the crowd cheering. And then here is the music that's playing. All right. Today, we are going to look at another one of these 14 new functions. Today, the text before function. All right. So there is the entire text right there. That's the asset there. All right. So they are stacked up. So there's me, and then here's the text. Okay, so let's look at what's happening here. Okay, this one is a repeat of this one. No, this one is a repeat of this one, except this has the gray. All right, so it looks like these two fade to gray, but really what's happening is this one is coming on top. Notice here with this audio track. Okay, here I do this so that the music fades out, not too abrupt, but not so long. Let's listen. I'm going to look at another one of these 14 new functions. Today, the text before function. Here's our data. All right, so I like how that faded out with that kind of a curve there. Now here, I do some highlights to help people understand what I am pointing to. Okay, so people can see. Here we go. Look at it. Retired LPN, Vesta Wade, PhD, Oscar Duffy, just plain Oscar Duffy. All right, so those help the learners, and those are in annotations, and those are highlights. Let's see. Yep, that's a highlight right there. Watch this. So the goal is we just want the names. So we want to get rid of DDS. We want to get rid of. Here is text, and I use no, this is the explode behavior. All right, so they all come in and then they explode out. But I also added an electric typewriter sound effect for when the letters come in. So I'm always thinking about, do I want a sound effect? What do I want it to be? So this just is want the names. So we want to get rid of DDS. Electric typewriter. All right. So let's go to the end here. All right. And I did not put a sound effect for going out. All right. Now DDS. We need to keep the junior. Here we go. Usually I would do that. This is the kind of thing of when I'm going back over a video, I can see things that I would tighten up, and I would make that consistent. But sometimes I get to the end of a video and then I start noticing little small things, and then I have to ask myself, is it worth another day, another 15 minutes, another hour to tighten up some things I saw, or is it good enough to go move on, get it uploaded, share the knowledge, and then start thinking about the next video? And sometimes, you know, I might have seen that this did not have a sound effect for the letters going out, but I decided, look, I mean, that would be great, but it's time to get this out into the world. A butt naked text before. All right, so this is the sound effect, and I got two sound effects together because sometimes you can hear a sound effect out online and then yeah, I know where they got that from. Or you see the same B-roll. You might see a bus going, and then you realize, wait a minute, I've seen that bus 4 other times. Somebody went and got some stock footage, saying certain music clips you hear over and over again. And so one thing that I'll do is to kind of make something my own and stack up some clips and make my own sound effect. A butt naked text before, and then and now let me tell you that honey is over here. There was the sound effect for in and out that time. Okay, also we have some text. Okay, got text with behaviors. And then notice that I didn't do the exact sound effect because, a lot of times, something comes in a certain way. It doesn't go out the same way, not the exact same way. And so I have the small air fast whoosh, but over here I add a shimmer. Okay. And now let me tell you that honey is over here because now I'm mentioning the honey right here in the video, but I should also say this right now. When I was deciding on the example that I was going to use, or every time I'm thinking about a video, I'm thinking about a mood. Is it spooky, fun, dramatic, sensual, jolly, celebratory? What is it? And then I start thinking about what other things, if you're in the world of dramatic, what's also dramatic to help with the language in the video that I use and what happens in the video editing after it's been recorded. So here I started thinking about, I want to show you something sweet. So what are some sweet things? Honey, sugar, you think bees, beehives, flowers, seduction, moaning, sensuality. What else is sweet? You can think about a dentist and rotten teeth also. You could say like, all right, now I'm gonna show you something sweet, but don't overdo it because you're gonna wind up with some rotten teeth and a hell of a dental bill. The dentist might not even want to see you after a while because you've been too indulgent on that text after function. See? So that's how I think about these things. And so when thinking about, I'm going to show you something sweet. Okay, here is some honey that I brought in. Okay, let's see what's happening next. Okay, the sweet part. Working our way to the sweet part. That's what's happening. Okay, and so I have this moaning sound effect and the sweet part coming in. Okay, and it's doing a reveal transition. Okay, so let's keep going forward here. All right, and there's another animation. We got to start here. All right, zoom in so people can see what I'm doing. And again, I did not use the zoom animation. I use a custom so that I can move this exactly the way I move it. Maybe I wanted to tilt this a bit. Something I can do that with custom and not have to fool around or think too much. Okay, so now I get over here, bring it down a bit. Now look what's happening here. Joseph. All right, so now I like these kind of enhancements when I am making a video. Okay, because we did something and then all of a sudden here were all those NA errors. Bring it down a bit. Now look what's happening here. Okay, so what can show, oops, something's wrong, a red X, among many other things. And then I go find a sound effect to go with it and then get them lined up. Here's something we can try. Equal. Okay, let's go to this. And you saw the sweet part is getting closer. Here's something we can try. equals. All right. Text. So there was a lot happening there, and this is why we have 13 tracks of assets all stacked up. We've got the letters coming in, and then there are sound effects for the letters. Let's see. We got the air, and then we've got speedy passing. Okay. So speedy passing air blows. All right. And then we have some leaves. Okay. And then several clips of moaning all right there. Here's something we can try. Equals text before. James Samuel, he is a movie director, and he did the movie The Harder They Fall with Idris Elba, Regina King, Delroy Lindo. Great movie. I've watched it 11 times. In an interview, James Samuel said, okay, in the train scene where there's all this shooting and all these bullet casings are falling to the ground, and James says, yes, people have contacted him over and over again to say that the types of bullets in that time period and those types of guns, they did not have casings. But James said, in my movie, they do, because he was going for the effect, the dramatic elements, and not so much and he says, okay, yes, I'm going against accuracy, making a conscious decision too. All right. And so with these types of things, when I have something come in one way and go out another way, and there's inconsistencies, it's decisions that I've made to like simplify things and just have fun. All right now. Okay. Now here is this audio that's happening. This music is in. It's and add more. Add the LPN. Add the DDS. Okay. No. And this doesn't have a fade in or a curve because I felt like the music itself was already kind of slowly coming in. So I did not have to mess with the editing points in the audio. But let's look up here because, all right. Okay, so I did cut something out right there. All right, so here, the sweet part. Ooh. Okay, so that honey, where is that honey happening? The honey is right here. And you can see that it was in front of me. All right, and here's another one where I removed the color because we go to the media and here it is. That's the honey. It's on a black background. And so I bring it in and then remove the black to make the sweet part taste so good. I want to go over here. I want to put DEL, enter. Let's put PhD, RE. Now you notice the music that's in the background, it can take a long time to pick the right music because I wanted something that wasn't too busy, that could add some kind of sensuality since we're working our way to the sweet part. So I'll go through a lot of different clips, listen to a lot of different things, and then eventually narrow it down to one. All right. Also, there's one thing where, now fortunately, I spent time as a musician. And so I'm thinking about things that have too much treble, too much guitars, high end of the piano. Treble cuts through everything. Drums and bass, lower frequencies, those do kind of stay in the background. And so if I get a music clip and it's automatically got some guitar going, I know that's going to cut through and distract from what I'm talking about. To enhance the sweetness, the seduction, the sensuality, okay, lipstick. Watch how that's used. RN. All right, so now let's backtrack because I have this music here because let's see what's happening. Let's see. All right, double click. Okay, it's not gonna double click, but anyway, because I got all those hidden columns in there. All right, I'm gonna just drag this thing down. All right, so now the music is coming in and I'm trying to let it be known that we are really we've hit the sweet spot. We are really getting to what we really need to do. We've got the text before stuff. We've got understand the challenge that I laid out, and so now here we go. We're in the home stretch, baby. All right, columns in there. All right, I'm gonna just drag this thing down. Ooh, lordy, lordy, look at this. We have MSW in the delimiter table. All right, notice tambourine comes in. MSW is gone, but RN is still there. Watch. RN. Oh, look at that. All right. So we got the lipstick coming in, and then we have the feedback correct 15. That's the sound effect. Oh, look at that. Okay. All right, so I use the same sound effect for each one of these, and they are all lined up. You bear it. Okay, now we got to put in MD. All right, there's Henry. All right, so as soon as, look how I timed that. Watch. Got to put in MD. All right. Right. Okay, so you see when I hit enter, and then the lipstick and the sound effect. All right. We don't want the third and strip that off of Luke Wynn's name, but we do want to get rid of DDS. VP, EMT, J. All right, so now watch this. Watch what's going to happen here. And notice my audio is fading out. And there is a splice. So let's get this closer. Here's a splice and my audio fades out. Now here's a trick that I've done because I might have done 5 more examples. And in the editing, I see that the few that I gave already are enough, but I can't just click the audio sometimes because I might be in the middle of a word. And so I need to find creative ways to not go through 10 examples, 7 of which the viewer doesn't need to see because the first 3 are sufficient. Now, how do I get rid of that and not have some abrupt change? And so right here is a trick where I just kind of fade out. J period D. We got it. So there's a lot happening at the end here. There's me wrapping up the video. And then there's the honey, which now is behind me. Earlier, it was in front of me. So you see that it's behind me. Okay, so let's watch the ending. Period D. We got it. And that is text before. Okay, now here is something to point out. I needed the music to end, but it was awkward the way that the music naturally flowed. So I needed to do something to get us out of the video. Watch this. Got it. And that
One,
is
2, 3, text.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So there again, it helps to have been a musician, because I didn't want this to end on like the and of 3 or something. It needed to end in some reasonable place. And so it helps to have like this big punch at 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And it fades out. See, like I start looking at these peaks, and there isn't enough of a fade right there. It just falls off and then the music starts up again. All right. I needed more of a fade to get out of the video. So those are a few things to share with you about the video editing process, the creative process, some of the thoughts, some of the workarounds and tricks. There's a lot. And I'm glad that people are curious about this, because I'm glad to share it. I love to, just share knowledge, whether it's Excel or video editing. I don't have any marriage advice. I have never been married. I don't want to get married. I'm okay. So if you need marriage advice, I might be able to help you find somebody, but that person is not me. All right. So hopefully you got something out of this video. There's a lot here. And please ask questions. Don't hesitate. And if you take on video editing, I wish you well, but this is some of the innards of what you have to deal with.